Thank you for coming today to celebrate not only the earthly life of our son Hunter, but also his eternal life. We are blessed to have been surrounded by so many. We are truly blessed, It is also a testament to the number of lives that have touched by this one little boy. How can I begin to describe what this child meant to me and the emotions that I feel? All of our children are special, but we were told that Hunter would not survive. In fact, we were told to end his life before it began. But God saw fit to bless us with this little boy. We know that his life in itself was a miracle and a testament to God. Because of the injury Hunter suffered, he was limited in his ability to communicate with us. But I was able to learn, like every mom does, the little noises, the looks, the movement, and their meanings. I knew my son like every mother knows her child. I knew Hunter inside and out. Let me back up a little and tell you the story of Hunter. My husband and I were thrilled to learn of our pregnancy just prior to moving to the Bay Area. On the day I called him to let him know we were having a son, he went from office to office, interrupting meetings to tell everyone he would have another son. Soon after relocating, we had a second ultrasound. At this time, we were told that something was terribly wrong with Hunter. Testing showed a virus, and we were counseled to end his life. Without getting into the details, we refused, and around this country, people began to pray. We are so impressed. We also impressed upon the doctors to do something, anything, to treat Hunter. Slowly, we began to see a healing in Hunter prior to his birth. As we rejoiced in this miracle, we also walked with fear of the unknown as we were aware of his injury. However, on January 25th, 2008, surrounded by family and friends, we celebrated his birth and brought him home the same day. And so began our time with Hunter. Hunter came into this world with a disadvantage. Hunter's brain was small, he could not hear well, and was limited in his ability to see. He had very little muscle control, thus grasping objects, sitting up, or lifting his head were major challenges. Yet somehow, this child touched everyone with whom he came into contact, from the moment he was born until the moment of his death. We celebrated every milestone and holiday, just as every family does. Hunter was an active part of our home and loved by his sister and brother. We know that Hunter was able to interact with each of us differently, as he could hear his loud brother Wyatt, and would snuggle with his sister Kate. We strove to include him in Easter egg hunts, Halloween costumes, and birthdays. He would also finger paint and play with his toys. We were thrilled with the blessings God gave us. This is not to say all was easy for Hunter. Just a few weeks after his birth, we had our first stay in the hospital. While this visit was short, we soon began to see and get to know the doctors and nurses that worked in the ER at Children's Hospital Oakland. Over time, we also got to know the doctors and nurses in the wards that cared for our son. He needed lots of therapy and many visitors every week to work with him at home. These wonderful ladies fell in love with those big blue eyes and that infectious smile. Because of Hunter's needs, he spent most of his life in my arms. I believe that this helped forge that special bond that he and I shared and still share. Despite all struggles, seizures, and work, I could not resist holding this little boy and loving him. No matter what happened, he would go right back in my arms. If Hunter was having a tough day or agitated, I would play and sing Testify to Love, and he would calm down. I feel this song embodies all the emotions I feel for my son. As our stays in the hospitals lengthened throughout the year, we were touched by the number of people at the hospital that seemed drawn toward this child. He seemed to touch everyone that came into his life. I do not know if it was his struggle or the grace with which he seemed to face his challenges, but all who met him were blessed by him. As Hunter neared the end of his life, We gave him the gift of love. In his room, surrounded by loving friends and family, we said goodbye. We covered him with our blessings, our songs, and most of all, our love. I have never doubted God's love for me, but I never knew just how much He loved me until He entrusted me to be the caretaker of this most precious creature. I will live in awe of my son. I will bask in God's blessings, and I will never forget the miracle of Hunter. I am not only comforted by the fact he is now in God's arms, but he is also in the arms of my dad. I am now, and I will forever be proud to be Hunter's mom.